Hey, what's up everybody? So I am a little bit late making this video. I was supposed to make it yesterday on my 1 month sleeve surgiversary, but it didn't go like I wanted it to. So I'm gonna make it today. You'll notice me looking down a little bit today because I actually have notes on what I want to talk about so that I'm not just up here rambling. And stay tuned, I have a cooking video, yay! Okay, so let's start. I was sleeved, got the gastric sleeve on February the 27th at Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit, the main campus. And I was 291 at surgery, and I weighed this morning at 264.6. So that means that I'm about 24 pounds down since surgery. It makes a total of about 60 pounds since my journey began about a year or so or two ago. Just give you a couple of other stats. So I took my measurements before I went for surgery, and here's what we came up with. I have lost 2 inches in my chest, my hips, my arms. I've lost 4 inches in my waist, my thighs, and I've lost 1 inch in my calf, and about 1/2 inch in my neck area. So those are pretty good stats. And if you would like to see a comparison picture, here's a picture of me from 3 months ago versus 2 days ago. Okay, and to show you a bigger comparison from when I started my journey at 327, here's a comparison from 2 years ago when I was 327 versus yesterday at the gym. Okay, so as you can see from the pictures, there have been some major differences in my appearance, so that's really cool. Forgive the glasses, they're gonna get lighter as this video goes on. I just had to go outside and handle a situation with my son and some kids. So anyway, let's get back into this video. So let's see, I gave you my stats. So what am I eating? Let's talk about the liquids, because when I first came home from the hospital, I was on liquids. And they told me to add in protein, and then after a couple of days, I progressed to full liquids. So liquids was not a very good stage for me. Full liquids was not a very good stage for me. Nothing tasted good. Everything was just not appealing to me, and I was having a real struggle with getting my protein in. I couldn't even do a full Premier Protein shake in one day because I just felt like I was going to gag every time I took a sip of it. I'm better now. I can actually finish a whole one. But the thing about it is that the shakes actually kind of bother me a little bit for 2 reasons. Number one, most of them are made with milk products, and I'm lactose intolerant. And then the ones that are lactose free also have the sucralose in it, which does not set well with me when I eat too much of it or drink too much of it. So I was really excited when I went to the nutritionist and she said that you can progress to puree and soft foods. So I was on liquids from the 27th until March the 15th, 14th, something like that. So like a full 14 days, pretty much 2 weeks. And I was not hitting the marks. They wanted you to be at like 400 calories per day and 60 grams of protein. I was not getting that in, and I was not getting anywhere near 64 ounces of water in because or fluids in, because I just couldn't. And it was like the puree stage was not working very well. It just was gross. I mean, it's mush. It's like regurgitated food to me. You can put just about anything in a NutriBullet or a blender and, you know, blend it all the way down and eat it, but it just wasn't appealing to me. Excuse me. So we were told when we felt comfortable on the puree stage, we could start with the soft foods. So I started with scrambled eggs, one of my faves. And I could do that. I could do like tuna fish from Subway, get like a scoop or two in a bowl. It's just like a couple of bucks. Chicken salad or canned chicken, and mush it up with a little bit of cottage cheese. It's actually really good. I've tried it with a little bit of mayo too. It didn't bother me. Egg salad. Those were things that were really good for me. So I had those. Now I'm 4 weeks out, and I am transitioning myself into more regular food, because when I go back to work in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have to be able to, you know, have regular food. I'm not going to be able to just sit there and drink shakes all day. Plus, you should get your nutrition from regular food in the first place. So, excuse me, when I talk, my mouth gets dry, so I have to drink water. That's the other thing. I can take a little bit bigger sips than I was able to right out of surgery, which has made taking in the water better. And to help me, I got 2 of these. I have this, it's 28 ounces. And then I have this, which is also 28 ounces. And yes, I have both of them open. I was drinking one up front and drink one back here. So I figure if I can finish both of these in one day, that gives me 56 ounces of water or fluid, which is great, because then I only have to drink a little bit more water for the rest of the day. So I'm trying my best to get through those throughout the day. So yeah, the other thing is with getting my protein in, and I've learned to add flavorless protein powder into things. For instance, I am doing meatloaf and mashed potatoes tonight for dinner. So I added in flavorless protein powder to both to help get my protein in for the day. I'll explain to you how I figure out how much it is per serving and everything after you watch the video of me preparing my meatloaf and my mashed potatoes. Okay, so like I was saying, you have to find creative ways of putting protein into things. And so one of the ways that I do that is just simply by adding flavorless protein powder. This is the Gene Pro protein powder. I also have the Isopure flavorless protein powder. To me, Gene Pro is a little bit of a cleaner taste, so I usually go with that. So today we're going to be making one of my favorites, pre-surgery and post-surgery. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this to stabilize. So there we go. Okay, so it's going to be meatloaf and mashed potatoes, and I'm going to have a vegetable with it as well. So I'll show you how I make my meatloaf, what all I put into there, and then after that I will calculate the proteins and calories and all that stuff for you, and I will let you know. So I'm going to start off by using 1 pound of ground turkey, and I get the store brand. I don't necessarily buy the regular brand unless it's on sale. But this is like, I think it was $2.99 a pound. So of course I'm going to get that. So I add that in my bowl. So as you can see, I have that in my bowl. And then I'm going to add in the Progresso breadcrumbs, the plain. Some people use panko. Some people use, you know, oatmeal and other stuff as a filler for the meatloaf. Because being a bariatric patient, I can't eat a lot anyway. To me, I mean, I watch my carbs, I watch my calories, but honestly, 1/4 cup of this is 4 grams of protein, 20 grams of carbs, and 110 calories per 1/4 cup. That 1/4 cup is going into a whole pound of ground beef, ground turkey. So it's not going, each serving is not even going to have that much in it. And so I'll tell you. So I'm going to just do 1/4 cup. And that's all. 1/4 cup. Now, I'm also going to do a little bit of milk to kind of moisten it up. I use lactose-free milk because I am lactose intolerant. I'm just going to use 1/8 of a cup of it. Okay. Then to hold it all together, and it also adds protein, I add 1 raw egg. So I'm going to crack that in here. Okay. So far this is what we're looking like. So I don't know if you can really see in there or not. Then I'm going to start with my seasonings. I just use basic seasoning, a little bit of seasoned salt, a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder. It's just real simple. So you season like you normally would. Now, to that, I'm going to add in 2 scoops of the Gene Pro, which is going to boost up the protein by 60 calories. And I'm adding 2 because it's a big recipe. If it was a small recipe, a single recipe, I'll only add 1 or maybe even 1/2 of a scoop. But I'm going to add 2 for the big recipe. And I'm going to mix. So, just mix it all in. And now it's not going to make a huge meatloaf. It's going to make kind of a, I always make kind of a small one, but it always makes enough. So for quite a few servings, especially for me, because I can't eat that much. So, and I usually get my hands in here and get my hands all dirty and everything, mixing it in. But because I'm going to be handling the camera, I didn't want to do that. Just mixed in just as well with the spoon. So I'm using this pan right here for my meatloaf. So it's a small pan, not really big, but it makes a really good loaf. And I'm just going to spray the pan with a little bit of cooking spray so that my meatloaf doesn't stick. Oven is already preheating to 375, and I'll bake this for about 30-35 minutes. That'd be good. So just gonna smooth it out. So I don't make a really thick meatloaf, like it's not really thick. This is just a pound. If I was to make a, if I had added in another pound of meat, it would definitely be bigger. But this is just great. Like I said, I like to kind of even it out, spread it around a little bit in here. Just in time. Okay, so here's my meatloaf. I don't put a top or anything on it. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and then I'm going to have a quick second to calculate everything, and I'll be back to tell you the nutritional statistics on today's meatloaf. So what goes well with meatloaf but mashed potatoes? So today I'm going to make mashed potatoes for my side dish with my meatloaf. So I'm going to show you how I add a little bit of protein into my mashed potatoes and still make them flavorful and everything. Now I'm making this type of mashed potato. It's just kind that you add water to, and I know I should be cooking my own, but I don't have any potatoes here. Obviously, if I did, I would do it the traditional way. But this is pretty good. And the nutritional stats on this is not bad. So this is for a half of a cup prepared. Of course, I'm not going to eat a half of a cup. I'm probably going to eat maybe an ounce, if that. So I'm going to break this down. Instead of it being worth four ounces. So it's going to be like 16 servings for me. And I have to break everything down into smaller servings. So like the meatloaf, I broke down into 2 ounces each. And this will be broken down into an ounce. So this helps me when I put it into, because I use my Fitness Pal, so when I put it into my Fitness Pal, it helps me to accurately do it. So I have 2 cups of water boiling already. I'm going to use my little bowl here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the 2 cups of boiling water into my bowl. I'm actually going to go ahead and pour about half of a scoop of the flavorless protein powder into the hot water. And I'm doing half of a scoop because the meatloaf, we'll get into that in a minute, but the meatloaf has like 19 grams of protein already in it, and your body can only absorb a certain amount of protein at a time, like 30 grams of protein. So I don't want to put too much protein in here. And I'm going to open this up. So I put the protein in there, and let's see, I'll bring it here so you can look to see. It looks a little creamy, a little bubbly, but it's fine. And once you add everything, you're not going to be able to taste it. So just going to add this package here, one whole package in, and you whisk it around. Okay. So once you whisk this around, it absorbs the water really quickly. A little bit stiff, so what I always do is add just like a little tablespoon of butter to it. And I always do this whenever I make it. Remember, I'm not just cooking for myself either. I'm also cooking for my household, so I have to kind of do a little bit to make sure it's flavorful for them. So I'm going to take my milk again, and I'm going to put about another 1/8 of a cup in there. Maybe a little bit more. But I'm putting it in there to kind of loosen it up a little bit. So they're pretty good. I can eat them like that with no problems. So let me show you that. So here are my mashed potatoes with a little bit of protein powder in it. And so I'm going to do that as a 1 ounce serving. And then if you give me like 2 seconds, I can show you my meatloaf. I'm getting it out the oven now. Oh boy. Here it is. It does make a little bit of a juice, not much, but it does, the milk helps it. And it's very, it smells so good. And it's going to be so flavorful. So, I'm going to show you what a typical dinner plate for me looks like. So that was me making my meatloaf and mashed potatoes. So just to give you a breakdown of what the nutritional value is of each. So the potatoes, I actually probably could have added a little bit more protein powder in there. I didn't want to overload it because that was the first time I really added it, cooking it in bulk. Usually I add it to just my serving, but I just decided to do it in the whole bowl. So the meatloaf, because my stomach is small, you know, I can't eat that much. Berry patients can only eat a couple of ounces at a time. Plus our body doesn't, it only retains like 30 grams of protein at a time. So I divided the meatloaf into 2-ounce servings for myself so that I know that that's pretty much what I'm taking in. So the meatloaf has 19 grams of protein, 2 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fat, and 135 calories for 2 ounces, which is excellent. And the potatoes, for 1 ounce of potatoes, because you're supposed to get protein first and then vegetables and carbs if you can. So my potatoes have 1.5 grams of protein, 3.9 grams of carbs, 0.5 grams of fat, and 27 calories for 1 ounce serving. So it's not bad at all. And I know that, you know, some people may look at that. And I mean, I'm watching the carbs. I don't like to get too high in my carbs. But when you are a bariatric patient, especially for me, first starting out, the way I look at it, I'm pretty low in calories every day anyway, and so boosting a little bit is not going to make a big difference. I've looked over the last week or so. I've been between 500 and 700 calories every day and about 60 to 90 grams of protein a day. So I'm doing pretty good with that, and I'm comfortable with what I'm taking in. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my video about that. Cooking, and you know, I may, as I develop more cooking skills and stuff, I may do more. So how am I feeling? Physically, I am starting to feel better. Not gonna lie, the first couple of weeks were horrible. My energy was low, especially when I was struggling getting my nutrition in. And I think my energy would be better if I would be more consistent with my vitamins, which I'm trying to work out a plan of action for that. I have to be careful because with my thyroid medicine, I have to take that first thing in the morning, and then I have to wait a certain amount of time before I can take, I think it's calcium, because it doesn't absorb properly with the Synthroid, or it messes up the way the Synthroid absorbs or something weird like that. I don't know. And the iron can't be taken near the calcium. So it's like I have to kind of get myself on a better schedule for vitamins. I'm taking 1 vitamin a day, but I'm supposed to be taking 2 right now, multivitamins. And then I'm supposed to be taking calcium 3 times a day. Like I said, it's kind of hard to stagger it with everything, but I'm going to get there though. Even if I have to mix, because one day I mixed it into some drink of mine and it was really good. I used Nectar Protein, the kiwi, strawberry kiwi flavor, and I put it in 16 ounces of water, added a little bit of pink lemonade, sugar-free pink lemonade powder to it, and shook it up. And then I put my calcium in there because it's like an orange flavor, but it blended right in and it was pretty decent. So I'm trying to figure out how to get, you know, every single vitamin in exactly like I'm supposed to, so that I will optimize everything. Emotionally, I think that's the biggest thing that I did not expect, was to go through all the emotional feelings and the ups and downs, the crying spells, and people are telling me that I'm a little bit different. I'm a little bit shy, a little bit withdrawn. For one thing, I don't like a lot of attention, and it seems a lot of people are coming up to me. I saw people this weekend that hadn't seen me in a while, and they were commenting on, oh my God, you're losing so much weight and you look good and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, thank you, but I'm just kind of like withdrawn. And today I was sitting here thinking about it, and I think I know why, and I'll tell you why in a second. But before I do, let me get back to this weekend, because I know I posted in the last video I was going to show you what I was taking with me. So the weekend outing went pretty well. I got up in the morning. I made my breakfast burrito with the egg being the burrito, filled with a little bit of cheese and some salsa, and it was delish. So I had that, and then later on, I was drinking my water throughout. I also had Melba toast, one little slice of Melba toast which held me over until lunch. In retrospect, I kind of wish I would have had like a protein bar or something, but lunchtime, the little wraps went over well. I ate 2.5 of them at one time, and then about 2 hours later, I ate the other 1.5. And then I just drank water. I did not have, and then when I came home, I had chicken and something. I don't remember. But anyway, I had chicken and something. String beans. I had chicken and string beans. So, I didn't drink the nectar that day, but the next day I did drink it, and it was really good. So, that went well. Now, what I was thinking about emotionally and why I feel like I'm withdrawn is because of something that I like to talk about, perception. Sorry. So, here's the thing about perception. I think for myself with weight loss surgery, there are two things that I'm finding. One, how people view or perceive bariatric patients, and then how bariatric patients view themselves, or at least how I view myself. So most people, when they hear you've had bariatric surgery, the first thing they think is that you took the easy way out. You're lazy, you know, and you don't need this surgery. Can't you just cut your calories? All of these other things. I don't think a lot of them realize that for most people, bariatric surgery is the last resort, that we've tried everything else with no lasting success until we go a different route. I've told my story many times, and, you know, this was not an easy way out for me. It's never easy to pay money to have a surgery, let them cut on you, to go through the recovery, to go through changing your whole life and everything. However, that being said, sometimes I do feel self-conscious about telling people about the surgery because I feel like they're going, I'm anticipating them, you know, calling it a cop-out and calling it the lazy way out and the easy way out and all that. And I don't think I want to defend it. And I think that's what it is. I'm tired of defending myself when it comes to the surgery. So I don't. And so far, a lot of people have been receptive. There have been a few naysayers. And I have to learn to just shut it down and just say, you know what? Everybody has to make a decision for themselves. This is the decision I made for myself, and I'm happy with it. You don't have to make that decision. So you go on about your life. It's very easy for a person who has never struggled with weight, who has never struggled to try to lose weight and to get healthier. It's not easy for them to really understand. To them, they could just, you know, go about their business and be fine. One lady, she told me she was so happy when she found out that I was getting a weight loss surgery. She got quiet, and then she goes, "Oh, so happy. I stepped on the scale, and I finally lost these 6 pounds I've been trying to lose for years, and now I'm finally down to 170. That's where I was trying to get to." And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, that's nice. For years, you've been trying to lose 6 pounds. For years, I've been trying to lose over 100. So there's a big difference there. And I think that dealing with all of that weighs on you emotionally eventually. And you just kind of get tired. And so I think that's where I am now. And I'm not explaining, I just made up my mind, I'm not going to explain myself to anybody. Just whatever. I don't have the energy, and I don't need to explain myself to anybody. Real quick, touch on exercise, because I don't want to make this video too long. Touch on exercise. So, besides walking around, I have started going back to the gym, doing some cardio. Right now, I am trying to do between 15 and 20, 25 minutes of cardio each time I go to the gym, and I'm lifting light weights, 5 to 10 pounds at the most. When I am back to work on my 6th week, I'll be able to lift heavier weights, and then get back with a trainer and start transforming this body. So, or continue sculpting and transforming the body. So yeah, so that's what's been going on here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry it talked so long and the, you know, cuts and everything. So next video, I'm going to talk more about my personal goals and what I plan to do to celebrate reaching those goals. So check me out on social media, Instagram and Twitter, CarmenSaidSo.com, and check out my, Carmen Said So, and my blog is CarmenSaidSo.com. So check those out, and I'll be updating Instagram and my blog later on tonight and Twitter. So take care, guys, and keep going.